experts say this is where I am supposed to put a hook. And the hook of today's episode would be, are you a man married to a woman from Latin America? And I don't really think I need this hook because if you are a man married to a woman from Latin America, you know it already. However, did you know you just might have a golden ticket to a more affordable retirement? So let's explore how your wife's connections could open doors to a more affordable retirement in her home country. Welcome to Dying to Retire. I'm Doug, and this channel is about my journey into retirement and beyond. Today, we're going to dive into a retirement strategy for American men who are married to Latin American women. Now, for me, Guatemala is the perfect retirement destination. My wife was born there, moved to the States in the early 1970s. Let's just say that word Watergate was used in the news a lot. Now, we're in the process of updating our paperwork. I think we're about 75% there. We've already got our national ID, known as the DPI, and we're working to get a newer copy of her birth certificate in order to register our marriage. And one thing I'm going to ask, if you are from the consulate in Rockville, Maryland, from Guatemala, if an older lady comes in there, little gray in her hair or white in her hair, and she shows you her original birth certificate, please do not call it an antique or something that's ancient, because when they go home, the husbands hear it for several different days. I have to take her to dinner to make her feel good, get a couple drinks in her, the whole 9 yards. So come on, help me keep my costs down, because that's what I'm looking to do. Now, your path may lead elsewhere. Maybe your wife is from El Salvador. Maybe she's from Costa Rica or Dominican Republic. Regardless of the country, these connections can potentially lead you down a path of a more affordable retirement. And hey, they say learning a new language helps stave off dementia. And what do you have to lose? You already know some words in Spanish. I'm pretty sure you know estúpido, idioto, bobo, pendejo. And if you're lucky, papi chulo. We're never that lucky. So let's talk about this thing I call the reverse green card. Many Latin American countries offer easier paths for residency for spouses of their citizens. And this reverse green card and its process is often simpler and cheaper than the process she went through to become a resident and eventual citizen in the United States. But Doug, you may say, my wife was born in the States. If your wife is first-generation American, she might be eligible for citizenship in her parents' home country called citizen by descent. This could extend to you as her spouse and offer you a unique retirement opportunity that many people going for residency in those countries are not offered, because a pensionados or a pensioner's residency visa is very different from a spousal residency. And often the spousal residency allows you to work on the local economy. So what does this get you and me? So let's do a short cost of living analysis. While the sun's out here super bright, it's been raining all day. Cost of living in Latin America is generally much lower than that in the US. As Oliver Anthony sang last year in the song, Richmond, north of Richmond, the dollar ain't shit. And it still holds true today. In Guatemala, you need about $340,000 in saving to retire comfortably. That's compared to the $1.5 million I need here in the state of Maryland. For the Dominican Republic, it's slightly under $290,000 to retire comfortably. And for El Salvador, in which Bukele is making it a whole lot safer, it also is slightly under $290,000. Now, I've done a lot of research on this topic. Apologies here, you've got to adjust. Bad back. But for this video, let's narrow it down to 4 things: housing, food, healthcare, and transportation. And I'm probably going to say healthcare last. Okay? Housing. In general, housing down there in Latin America is cheaper than that you'll find in the United States. There are stuff that's more expensive, but we're trying to stay in more affordable communities. This is where your wife can come in, and it depends on when she came to the States, or her family that's down there, because you don't want to get nailed with gringo pricing. You want to pay what the locals pay when you're buying the house. One thing I would like to implore you guys to do, don't do the McMansions. They look very appeasing. They're huge, a whole lot bigger than what we had here in the States. However, do we need something really that big? Remember, I talked about downsizing into retirement. You don't need all the rooms, maybe 1, maybe 2 at best. to friends and relatives when they come down to visit, but you don't need the McMansions. Food. Shop on the local market. Go to the local tiendas and mercados when you're shopping for your food. What's really good on that, you're going to see vegetables and fruits that you normally don't see here in the United States, and you're probably going to have less processed food. They do have American stores down there like Walmart or I think it's Price Club, but you're going to pay American prices at those clubs, and they're going to have more of the processed or injected foods, with the chemicals all in there. So shop with the locals. Next, transportation. Public transportation in Latin America is generally cheaper than what you find in the United States. However, its reliability and dependability, it can be suspect and could be really good topics for dinner discussion. Now, side note, chicken buses are not public transportation. That is a private form. Just remember that. And sometimes not as safe. Car ownership in Latin America is on par with that of the United States. But one thing to take in note is that you're going to see a lot of different models, that makes and models, than what you see here in the United States. Now, for healthcare, while national healthcare systems in Latin America might not meet everyone's expectations, the good news, while the dollar ain't shit here, down there, the US dollars can go a long way in securing a high quality private healthcare. So, healthcare plan. So you want to look into that. I'm going to give a couple examples here. My wife and I have a really good federal healthcare plan, but sometimes it takes us months to be able to go see our specialist. I have an endocrinologist for cancer. It's often 2 months, 3 months for me to actually get an in-person visit. Yeah, I can get a video visit. And for her to see the lady doctor, it often takes months as well. And let me tell you, that's not something that they want to do in a video conference. I think that's called OnlyFans right now for what happened on that one. So let's stay away from there. So the reason I'm saying this is a segue, because I had a former coworker of mine who was from Guatemala. She routinely took her and her children down to Guatemala at least twice a year for all their medicals or major medicals. Why? Because the doctors down there took the time to actually hear what was going on. It wasn't the typical 10 to 15-minute office appointment in which the doctor is just pounding into the keyboard to whatever plans equivalent to WebMD and go type, 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 type. Oh, you have strep, type, 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 whatever, sinusitis, all these different things. There, they really get to know you a whole lot better. I'm talking about the private plans again, not the public ones. So look at those, and they can be more cost effective. As a federal employee, I recommend you still keep your health insurance, FEHB, that you would have here, but get something down there that's a local, but a very nice, good private healthcare plan. This next part is really, it depends. And why do I say that? It depends on how Americanized your wife has become, and you know what I mean by that. Does she speak Spanish at home? Does she adhere to local practices and customs? The reason why I'm saying that is when my wife and I first met, and we went to family events, parties, holidays, and everything on the like, she made me have to introduce myself, or both of us, to everyone that was at the party. We went in, said hello, who I am, my name, why I was there, because I was the gringo, all this stuff, from going through the door to the regular folks there, to whoever was hosting the party, but also to the elders in the room. And now, this retirement age, we're the elders now. Okay, think about it, because it's been 30 years. So, and when you left, you had to do the same thing. At the time, I thought it was an hassle. Now, I very much really appreciate it, because that's how you get to know and remember a lot of the people who come to your house often. Language. Again, how long has your wife been in the United States? She may speak Spanish or a version of Spanish that's good in her household, but it may not be able to, she may not know all the local colloquialisms and slang. And that's where her family in the home country comes into play, because they can help you with that. One thing I'm going to say about with the family in the host country, don't be a cash cow. Don't be the wallet. There is no such thing as the bank for retirees. We're using our retirement income. Research considerations. With all of this in mind, you are still responsible for doing your research. And when you're doing retirement options, even this, the reverse green card, look at all the data, separate what is pertinent, what's not, kick out all that stuff, and really do an honest critical analysis, a no shit analysis. Studies and surveys can be biased and misleading. Look beyond the headlines, dig deeper into the realities of life in these countries. While your wife and family are valuable sources of information, you're still responsible for doing all your research. And remember, proper planning does prevent piss poor performance. So remember, retiring in your wife's home country may offer you an affordable option you did not know you had. Proper planning, insider knowledge, think boots on the ground, and thorough research are critical if you're going to be using this reverse green card option. This is where you can help me. If you are considering retiring to your wife's home country, or have you retired to your wife's home country, could you do me a favor? In the comments below, can you share your thoughts and experiences? Thank you. This is Doug. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and turn on the notifications.